Hello, I'm Dr. Rob Yeung, a business psychologist and a coach at a consultancy called Talent Space. And I'd like to talk to you about how you can pitch ideas more effectively. Now, I hope that this will be useful to you, whatever your message or your audience. So perhaps you're pitching to just one person, perhaps your line manager or a colleague, or a group of people, such as some internal customers or external clients. Or you might even be a line manager yourself and you're trying to inspire your employees to adopt some course of action. Whatever your message, what we do know is that most people do not respond solely to data alone. It really makes sense to choose carefully your words, your language, in other words, the rhetoric that you deploy. So one rhetorical device that you can use is something called the analogy. And this is where you compare your situation to another situation. And what many people in business do is that they compare their situations to larger, more successful businesses. For example, imagine an accountant who wants to do something innovative. He might say he's going to launch a set of accounting services that are going to use technology and clever design, and he's going to become the Apple of the accounting world. Or I'm a psychologist. I write articles and do training videos like this. And I might say that I want to offer psychology advice on demand, like Netflix. And immediately, by mentioning successful brand names, it makes the proposition, the idea, very easy to understand. And perhaps you might even be able to get some of the glamour and success of those larger businesses rubbing off onto your idea as well. Another tool that you can use to boost the success of your ideas is what's known as argument by generalization. And this is where you talk about one situation and then generalize it further. And this is particularly useful when you want to launch a product, but all you've got is a very basic prototype. Or you want to target perhaps thousands of customers, but you only have a few or even one example. So all you need to do is to talk about your situation in detail. And the reason this works is because as psychologists, we know that most people are not actually very convinced by abstract forecasts and projections. They're much more persuaded by talk about narrative stories, about things that have actually happened. So talk about your example, your situation, and then generalize it more widely. A final technique that you can use to boost the strength of your ideas is something called argument by authority. And this is where you seek endorsements, testimonials, or positive comments from other successful people. For example, authors do this all the time, both of fiction and non-fiction books. So they'll get other authors of books that you may have read before to say something positive about their own book. And I do this as well, so I write books, and typically on the cover, either on the front or the back, I'll get an endorsement from either a successful business leader or perhaps a professor of psychology. And by getting an endorsement, you gain credibility. So you can do this whatever your idea. You could get a written endorsement, perhaps in an email from a head of department or from a major customer. Or go visit that person and perhaps shoot a 20-second video on your smartphone. Or if it's a really important business presentation you're giving, then perhaps even get that person to turn up in person to speak on your behalf. So in this video, we've covered 3 rhetorical devices that you can use to strengthen your pitching. So you can use analogies to compare your situation to other successful brands. You can use argument by generalization, talk through an example and generalize it, or use argument by authority to seek endorsements from people who really matter.